Yeah, welcome everybody to the show. It is my honor and privilege to introduce you to my friend Teresa V. And she's really cool. She actually does some angelic communication. She's a spiritual teacher, and there's a whole list of things that you can read about her in her speaker's bio. But thank you for being on the show, Teresa. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for inviting me, Tanya. I'm so happy to be back here with you.
I know it's always fun. I always have so much fun with you. Okay, and today you sent in a topic for the show that I was like, yes. And it's called The Sacred Rewrite, Calming the Chaos and Reawakening Your True Power.
Hmm, just some tiny things.
Just some tiny, just a little light refreshing talk, nothing crazy. Okay, but this is real. We're talking about, right? We love drama, we love our stories, we love chaos. The human planet comes with chaos, and we're kind of right, like opening up to A, chaos has a purpose. B, you don't have to live in it forever. C, how the heck do you efficiently get yourself out of the chaos and into all of the cool stuff?
It's funny, like the universe is actually organized chaos. So it's just really about being able to sit in it and go with it. And when we stop fighting it, sometimes that's when the chaos realigns itself. So, it's really beautiful. But like I feel like so many of us right now are thinking about like feeling like we're living someone else's script, or we're hustling, we're overgiving, we're shrinking down, we're working on autopilot, and we're sort of missing our own lives, right? But having that feeling at the same time that we have to keep going because we were born for something bigger than this. Can you relate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%,
yeah,
100%. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Living other people's stories. Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I know. I know.
yeah.
And it's like also being stuck in other people's stories right now. Like there's so many of our old stories and our ancestral stories really playing out on the planet right now. And so it's how do we stay at center in the midst of that and allow it to clear from our own systems and from our lives in the name of clearing it from the collective.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. How do we do that?
Well, yeah. So I mean, I think really it's coming back to our center and realizing that every pattern that's there is simply a distortion of love, right? The love was the
Mhm.
intention in the first place, but then what ended up happening was fear or culture or past life trauma or whatever it was kind of distorted and
Yeah.
fragmented that energy of love into something that was less than love, into something that was more chaotic. And that thing that was the best thing we could carry for survival at the time got passed down to us. So rather than be the perfect unconditional love it was the distortion that passed down. So if we could get back to realizing that all of those things were love at their core and release the distortions, come back to that center within ourselves and invite those things to realign, then that's kind of how we move through this. And I know it sounds like, oh my gosh, like there's this big stuff going on, and there is, but really it comes down to how do we realign ourselves with love?
Ooh, distortion of love. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And like so many of us can relate. Like if you had a childhood on this planet, you had some kind of trauma.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Like that's just how that goes, right? And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like, gosh, in schools we see the kids acting out, right? And there's misbehaving, and that's like distortion of love, or where our parents are well-meaning and they punish us because they think that's going to help us, or like it's everywhere. And then distortion of self-love.
100%. Because when you're coming up in a distortion of love, which is no one's fault, really. It was
No.
things that were taught to you for survival at the time, right? It was things that other people learned that helped them survive that they just passed down to you. So in a lot of cases, I would say in 90% of cases, it was unintentional. But it's things like money is the root of all evil. Ladies who are good sit with their legs crossed, like those kinds of like BS that that we perpetuate, and then we become less than and kind of divorced from our own power because we have these things so ingrained in us, right? And again, you can see how those things were meant to be protective, but they were protective in the way that now you're kind of separated from your power, you're separated from all that you are, and you're moving through life in like, maybe 80% of capacity, maybe it's like 20% of capacity, depending on what you've been through. And I also just want to mention right now that a lot of people who are in adulthood are being tasked with taking care of these people who did parent them in within these distortions of love, and there is trauma there. And one of the things that we're not acknowledging as a generation is the trauma that is there, and we're kind of taking care of people out of obligation, and not acknowledging our own feelings within all of that. So I just kind of want to put that out there too, because it's something not a lot of people are talking about, but it's something that's very real for the generation of people who find themselves in adulthood now.
I was just speaking to a woman about this yesterday, in line at a like a bike swap. And she was talking about how she's taking care of her husband's mother. And it
Hmm.
is not a healthy situation. She's like, but at the same time, I can't put this woman out on the streets.
Right. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
common, and there needs to be more support for that, but we are where we are, and really coming back to how can I function in this space with self-love? How can I acknowledge the feelings I'm having? And how can I sit with them and really allow them to show me what it is that they are here to show me? What can I clear? What can I glean from this? Because there is always something really important on the other end of processing our feelings. And when we can integrate that, then those feelings can sort of dissipate themselves. They can start to move through because they have served their purpose. They carried protection from whatever it was they were hiding behind them. And now that we're ready, we
Yeah.
can say, okay, what is it? They can show it and they can dissipate, and we can move on and integrate more love, integrate more of ourselves because we've sat with them.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Now, what about what does it take to get to that own, if you've grown up in distorted love, what would it take to get back into that place where you actually know what love is or self-love is if you had like this crazy version of it before?
Well, I think that maybe the first pieces of this are recognizing the signs that we've moved into kind of a survival mode, right? That we are
Yeah.
really falling victim to this distortion. And some of those things are like exhaustion. We tend to exhaust ourselves. We overgive because we were taught that overgiving and putting ourselves last was like the way to do it. We
Hmm.
have a short fuse. Like I remember early in my career of doing things like this, I was overgiving, I was overextending, I was booking too many clients, and part of me was like, "Well, you should be grateful for that." But part of me like went into grumble mode. Every time somebody booked a session, I was like, "Gah, gah, gah, gah," like I was so
Yeah.
upset because I
Yeah.
didn't have boundaries in place. So like mental chatter. Sometimes you're counting down the hours until you can just collapse on the couch, right? And it's just like all these things, these cycles on repeat, and our creativity, our inspiration, our intuition, and our joy, like they kind of go dark on us. So those are some of the warning signs because some of us don't even know when we're there, right? We don't recognize it because it's been such a lifelong thing. So so that's important. And so how we can start to really do the awareness is rebellion, right? Awareness is like,
Oh, I
okay,
like
I
that.
see this. Like let's
Yeah.
move through it because keeping us unaware is the biggest way to keep us from ourselves and the greatness that lives inside. So it's the key to allowing us to choose differently every single day. So I would say that's the first thing, like the awareness. Okay, wait, I'm exhibiting these symptoms. So what's going on here? Oh, okay, I've fallen victim to something that doesn't feel true to me anymore, but I'm still living by that code. What needs to happen, right? From awareness, we move into, okay, I see it. I accept that this is true. And then we move it to now what can we do about it? So there are so many things. So is this making sense?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So like realizing that, again, this was just fear in disguise, and then moving into, okay, how can I love myself better today? Because so many of us are over giving to everyone else, and not necessarily because we're obligated. Sometimes we really want to, right? As parents, you really want to give everything you can to your kids a lot of times, but
Hmm.
realizing that in that, we really need to fuel ourselves. And I know we all know this, but do we do it, right? Like rest isn't weakness, it's fuel. We need to, at the end of the day, have some of our energy left in order to get good sleep. And good quality sleep is really important in regard to us being able to function in the world. So, like, these are really simple things, but checking in at the end of the day, do I have at least 30% of my energy left? And if the answer is no, you're not going to get good sleep. So, you want to really strive for having 30% of your energy left so that you can go to bed and get good quality sleep, because good sleep takes energy, right? So it's like
Oh,
it's amazing, right? Like these little stupid things that we take for granted. We just think, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm going to get a great night's sleep." Well,
yeah.
you might sleep well, but you might not sleep with quality, you know? Making sure a lot of us are like on the go. And so it's like, "Oh,
Oh,
I'm hungry. Oh, what
yeah.
happened? Oh, okay, I'm hungry. Let me just grab whatever's
Ah,
there."
yeah.
And we're grabbing like emptiness, you know? And
Yeah.
so just making sure, like, okay, if you have an hour to meal prep, what can you do to just make sure that you have something at the ready that is nourishing physically and energetically when you get hungry, And it's these kind of things, and just kind of then examining, okay, what are my beliefs here? If we're feeling out of alignment, if we're having problems with money, okay, what are
Yeah.
my beliefs around money? What have I inherited? Look at my genetic line. What's their money story? And just kind of becoming aware. So I
Yeah.
think that's good. That's a really good first part. And starting to tend our nervous system after that.
Yeah. I no, I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, there is no way I ever have 30% left in my tank when I go to bed. No wonder I sleep like shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Oh, damn. Like, how do you
Yeah.
have 30% left in you at the end of the day?
So in all fairness, I know who my audience is, right? I know who's here, and I know
Yeah.
we're all overgivers. So if we
Yeah.
say 30%, if we shoot for 30%, then we are likely going to be at 15, right? So
Okay.
okay, 15 can work. So that's a starting point. But then when you see how you start to feel better after having 15%, then you might shoot for 20, right? So you want to end up at 30, but I know that if I say 15, we're going to go back to 0. So let's aim for 30 so we hit 15.
Oh, smart lady. But this is true. I with my babies, I
Yeah,
was on it because I knew if they got overtired, that was it. They weren't going to
right.
sleep, right? And so
Exactly. That's what
my
happens. You
girlfriend
start
laughed.
running
She's
in
like, your kids are
circles.
never, yeah,
Mhm.
you do. She's like, your kids are never not sleeping. I'm like, I know. And they're happy babies, right? Like, I'm not giving that up. But when
Right.
it comes to me, I'm like, whatever, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. We do that as we get older, because it's not only because we're putting ourselves like at the end, but that's what we've learned by watching
Hmm.
other people when we were growing up, right? We saw them being exhausted and still giving, taking care of things that they didn't want to take care of or have the energy to take care of. And so that's what we learned even without anyone saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, that stuff runs deep. That runs deep. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. You
Looking
know,
at I
go
wanted
ahead.
to look at the other stuff here. Okay,
No,
and
I was
so
mhm.
I know I'm sorry, everybody. I know this one's kind of glitchy. You can go ahead. You go ahead.
No, it was glitching, so I wasn't sure what you were saying. So I was just gonna say that, when we can see these patterns too, and when we can see them with
Hmm.
gratitude, like, okay, this was the best that they could do. And I did actually learn some really great things from the people who taught me, you know, and be in the gratitude. And these are the behaviors that allowed my genetic line to survive to this point. And at the same time, I am the one here to rewrite the story. And
Mhm.
I'm doing it for all of those who stand behind me who have come before. And at the same time doing it for all of those who come after. So it's really a beautiful place that we get to be in by being alive at this time, even though the world looks super chaotic, and it is chaotic all over the place. We are starting to organize that chaos by organizing it within ourselves, reorganizing who we are and who we're meant to be while we're here.
Oh, you make it sound so easy.
You know, it's one breath at a time, one step at a time, right? If we can start all of this stuff by just making sure that we have some hummus and soup in the fridge for when we get hungry, right? Like that will go a long way to reorganizing our energy because we are sensitive, because we are empathetic, these small things can have huge effects on our energy. And, you know, just like when you walk into a room full of people who are depressed and sad, you know how like that really brings you down. So we're
Uh,
so used to looking at our sensitivity as something that we need to guard against. You know, we need to protect ourselves. We don't realize how much of a superpower it is and how these little tweaks can help us to get realigned really super quickly.
mhm. I'm like, how did you look in my fridge? Hummus and soup. That's what I always have on hand.
I love it.
Always.
Now, I just also
Yeah.
want to say like that a lot of times this inspired thought comes from our angels and they do know what's in your fridge. So they
Yeah,
they
they
will very often tell me exactly what it is that needs to come through to hit with the people who are there.
right. I'm like, it's fall, so it's borscht and hummus right now, right? Like,
Oh, borscht season. I love it.
yeah, yeah. I know I eat it cold. Anyway,
Mm,
okay. So speaking of beets though, okay, so calming your
mm,
nervous system. This is something I think a lot of people, it's starting to be talked about quite a bit more, but we also are still learning to recognize what it means to calm our nervous system
yeah.
down. What's your take on that?
Like, I think a lot of us are just so used to operating in fight or flight, you know, having
Hmm.
been more sensitive probably than most. So it's kind of time to unwire that because the angels have continuously been saying, like, you know, we can't move forward with those who are here to change the world being depleted. That's not in this paradigm. So we need to really start to source ourselves. So we talked about like some of the warning signs that your nervous system is kind of, you
Hmm.
know, out of whack. And those are like the early warning signs. You know, you'll start to see like maybe anxiety and anxiety attacks as things get worse, you know. But really starting to make the time to ground in nature, like that is something that can rewire your nervous system super quickly, probably more quickly than anything else. Just getting out in nature and being with a tree or a flower, and if you can't, for whatever reason, be out in nature, have nature in your space. Get a plant, you know, and just sit with your plant for 5 minutes. Um, like another thing is really checking in with ourselves. Like, how many times have you said yes to something when every cell in your body is screaming, no, I don't want to do this. Please don't say yes in your mouth. It's like, sure, I'll do it. Right. Um, and so really looking at that as a sacred no. Like your body is saying no, listen to it. When your everything is firing in your body saying no. That's it. You know, and then boundaries, like, this is a hard one for a lot of people, like, just having boundaries and really looking at life as kind of like a garden, right? And the things that you want to do, the things that you're here to do, the things that bring you joy and fulfillment are the flowers and the
Hmm.
vegetables in the garden. And so many times we spend all of our energy pulling the weeds, which are all of the other things that we need to do, which aren't those things that bring us joy, that spark our creativity. So we pull all the weeds, and by the time we get to tending the flowers, we're exhausted. So what we need to do is start tending those flowers, really putting our energy into the things that bring us joy, that help us to reset, that help us to live our purpose. And then what happens is there's nothing left for the weeds. They just naturally start to go away and dissipate. And so really that's the shift that we need to make is to focus on the flowers and leave the weeds alone and know that they will just start to disappear, and so many people also, especially like older Gen Xers and then people even older than that are having an issue realizing how much community is necessary in tending our nervous systems. Like having community, having people around who can relate to how you be, doesn't have to be how you think, but how you be in the world, that is super supportive. And being understood at that level helps our nervous system to relax into an experience. When we feel seen, heard, understood, healing begins immediately. So community is super important. So those are some of like the really simple ways, but not so simple for us that we can really start tending our nervous system. And I just think it's been overlooked until now because so many of us just came up in that constant fight or flight. And that's not the case where we're bringing people up now. So we're seeing the difference.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, community does make a massive,
Right?
massive difference. And they don't have to have the exact same beliefs that you do. I think that's
Hmm.
a really important thing to state because it's kind of like people will try to group with each other, like with spiritual people or with runners or with whatever like your community is. But I know that when I started branching out into other stuff, it was like, oh, like a different part of me unlocks, and then that can
Hmm.
deepen wherever I want it to go. But it's like it's um, many communities, not just one.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
When you can be more of yourself, like you're saying, these
yeah,
things unlocked pieces of yourself, these communities that maybe wouldn't have been as open beforehand, but they're opening pieces of yourself so you can walk as more of yourself. And
yeah.
and those are the people you want to spend more time with because there are people in our lives that we may love, but that we are not feeling safe to be ourselves with, right? That we are keeping
Hmm.
pieces of ourselves hidden to kind of keep the peace or whatever it is. And it doesn't mean we don't see those people, but it means that we set boundaries around how we see them, how long we see them, the circumstances, and then we focus. Like those might be weed experiences, like the weeds in the garden, right? Or other kinds of weed experiences. But we wanna really focus, where are the communities where I can thrive, and focus on spending more of our time there.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing when we can get there, and a lot of us have these stories about no one understands you. You shine too bright. No one can handle all of you. You're too much, and that has kept so many of us away from having that community experience. And so recognizing that and letting those stories be rewritten through having the visceral experience. Like that's the thing for our nervous system. When we have an experience where we put ourselves out there and we feel safe, like our nervous system says, "Whoa, what's happening? This is something new." And it starts to like relax a little bit. At first, it may be on guard because this is something new, but then it starts to relax into it. And this starts to become evidence. Our body is gathering evidence that there is another way to be. And the more we do those things, the more we have those experiences. It's like we're building a muscle and that muscle just
Yeah.
gets stronger and stronger.
Yeah, it would. Um, Taking on responsibility for other people's emotions, that's a
Ugh,
big one.
yeah.
That's a big bust yourself doing that today, please. I hope. Oh, I there I froze. I hope people bust themselves doing that today because like there are so many times where I'm like, oh wow, no, how they feel is not up to me. What they think about me, not up to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's there's a saying in a lot of the recovery rooms, like say what you mean, but don't say it mean. Like, and that is literally the only thing that you're responsible for is say what is true for you in the best and clearest way possible. And then
Yeah.
how others perceive it is not your problem because you put it out there in the best possible way. So you can be sure, okay, my side of the street is clean and I don't know how they're going to process it, but that's not on me. That's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That one is a little unnerve-wracking too, right? To like stand in there and to have to mentally walk yourself through that.
it can be. It can
Yeah.
be, yeah. And it's just, a lot of times just connecting with intention before
Hmm.
speaking. And if you are an
Oh,
angel person, Archangel Gabriel is the angel of communication and just asking, Gabriel, can you filter the words through me? Or, okay, my intention is love. Even if I want to end this relationship, my intention is to do that through a lens of love. So please, higher self, send the words through that speak to the experience of love and allow me to be in that energy. And that's it. That's all you can do.
I like that. I like that. Tell me a little bit more about your experience with angels. Well, tell us, tell everybody.
What do you want to know?
Oh, okay. Oh.
There's so much.
How do they like to work with people? How do they like people to call on them? Right? Because that's probably something I would say people might not be doing, might not realize that they could tap into that.
Mhm. The beautiful thing about angels is they are familiar to us in some way because they appear in every holy book that's ever been written. So, for the most part, everyone in the world has had some sort of experience with angels even before. So that's a great thing because a lot of times there's less resistance than with other spiritual things. Um, But how they want us to call on them is it really doesn't matter. They're always here with us. Like, they're always right here, and they're waiting. They can't interfere in our lives because we have free will choice, and they can't violate that. So they can't help us with anything unless we ask. So they're all standing here just like drumming their fingers on the table, waiting for our ask because their life purpose is to help us to live ours, to help us
Mhm.
to live with the most ease, grace, and peace possible so that we can shine and we can be the hands of the divine on this planet and the heart of the divine on this planet. So, in order to ask them, it's just how you would ask a friend who you're respectful of, right? So if you needed a favor
Oh,
from a friend, you're not going to be like speaking to them in a certain way. You're going to be like, "Hey, would you mind helping me move my couch? Like, I'll buy you pizza afterwards." They don't need the bribery, but just respectfully saying, "Hey, could you please help me with this?" And
yeah.
you don't have to know which angel. You have guardian angels, you have archangels. You don't have to know which angel to talk to. You can just say, "Hey, angels of the highest light, please assist me with this." Or if you are somebody who's more comfortable talking to the divine, you can ask your divine being to send the right angels to assist you. And so there's no real right or wrong way as long as you're doing it respectfully. And the other thing is from the heart more than from the mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so what's the difference there between heart and mind to ask?
So the difference is like if we're in the mind, we're sort of, hey, angels, can you just help me? Can you just help me with this? I just need to get it done. Versus when we're in our heart about the same thing, angels, can you help me to get this done? I really want to do it because I want to spend more time with my children and have that be good quality time where I'm not thinking about something else, right? That's the heart of why you want to get it done. The head is like, I just want to get it done and be done with it. So when we're
Huh?
in the heart, the fullness of our intention is there. The purity of our intention is there, and they can assist more with the big picture. And they love to show me like they're in, I don't know if anybody here has played Tetris in their life, like they're in the background of our lives all the time when we ask for something, moving pieces around so that they fit in the way that benefits us in the best way. And so, you know, they are saying to me that they want me to mention they can't interfere in our lives unless it's a life or death situation and it's not our time to pass on. If that's the case, then they can hop in and really, like, push us out of the way of the speeding train or whatever the situation is.
I've been in one of those situations. Yeah. Ooh, a few of them.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question? And they're like, I had a client recently ask me, "Ooh, I know this wasn't in my best interest, but I did this. Like I took this action that I feel like might be setting me back. Are my angels mad at me? Or are they disappointed?" And the angels don't get mad at us. They don't get disappointed. They can feel sorrow for us when we are going through something that is hurtful to us. They can
Hmm.
be there with us in that sorrow. They hold the highest and best for us, but they also realize that our soul needs to do what it needs to do to have the experiences that we need to grow. And so they're always there if we make a choice that might not be in our best interest, to help us see how that helped us to grow and pick up the pieces afterwards. They're not disappointed, they're not mad. They just want what's best for us at all times. And so like that's the difference. Where she was approaching the angels and her communication with the angels through a distortion of love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through the judgment. There
Hmm.
is no judgment in true love, in pure love. There is
Hmm.
no judgment. And so that's the difference.
Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
That is a good difference. Okay. This feels like a good segue. Should we open it up
Sure.
to some of our, since I'm asking questions, let's see who else has a question. Okay, so we have, let's see, I'm gonna bring on here. Okay, I'm gonna unmute Deborah here. Go ahead, Deborah. Did that unmute come through? Yeah, go for it. You
Hi.
have the floor with Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. It's good
Hi,
to be here.
Deborah.
Thanks. That was good. I was taking my notes. You probably
Oh.
maybe noticed. Um, yeah, I know that about the angels, about asking them. I still sometimes revert back to the forgetting, or I know one time I heard, no, you're not being strong enough in your ask. But anyway,
Mhm.
I liked your take on that, that we can um, approach it like they are our friends. They're here for our highest good. My biggest thing is the community thing. And
Mhm.
I loved what you said about that. Um, and just in awakening, no, I need to work on my nervous system because I love being around people. But my problem thing is probably the holding back. Can't say what's inside. So walking that fine line, I feel that a lot more in the last 5 years. And just yeah, coming, and so I know that's the thing that I probably really need to work on is my nervous system release, because I find sometimes, like, even when I am with a group, I'm concerned about that holding back, and then I realize, hey, you're putting out some vibes there that you don't even know you're putting out. That's what I'm starting to be more aware of that.
Mm. Beautiful.
Need to put myself out there more because I do love being with people. And I do loved what you said too about the nature reset. That's the easiest, quickest reset for me.
So is, so is. And it
Okay.
freaks me out because we're going into winter and I don't like to be cold. So like,
Awesome.
ah, yeah, but
Yeah, I think you kind of, the community part is probably would be my biggest question. Like, how do I reorientate myself out of this fear of being me? I like what you said, the fear of being too much or saying too much or not hold.
so I just want to say to you that if you showed up in a space, in a room that I was walking into with your energy the way it is right now, which is open, being in your full self, I would make a beeline across the room to talk to you because I would be like, who is this person? She's got this beautiful aura. I want to know her. And that is what happens when we show up as our full self. We attract the people who can handle that, and we attract the people who, are part of our next leg of our journey. And so that's number one. What I want to say to you is because as you were saying the first piece about holding back from the angels, it's the same issue that causes you to hold back in these rooms. And I heard your angels saying, what I wrote it down. What what is it in your life that told you that it was not safe, oh, to ask for what you need?
Yeah, I think it goes way back. Yeah. Oh,
That's where the work is.
yeah.
That's where the work is. Because that's the holding back. And
So is
it,
that just dealing with the inner child part then, or is that just the whole of me, or just
it's not about making anyone wrong, okay?
mm,
It's about showing up for that child version of you
yeah,
and being the adult that she needed then,
right.
okay? Teaching her that her voice is powerful, her needs are important. Because that I have such chills right now. They're like my hair is standing like up to here. Um, really teaching her that she should be seen and heard because she has value and her needs and her voice has value. And I see how much work you've done on that. Like you are showing up in this beautiful way. This is just the last piece of integration.
Yeah, that's really good. I think I realize that too, that I uh, I knew what my life was like on the normal living level, but I was, just kind of the last 20 years where I've really started to say, oh, this and oh, that. And it just got bigger and bigger. And I think what I've been sensing lately that I was so overwhelmed as the adult that I was just trying to survive day to day and probably focused way too much on just that survival than than doing the play,
Mm.
doing the more time in nature, more time at the beach, all those things.
And that's you can do that now.
Yeah. But even when I go there, I love going to the beach. But this year when I've gone, I find that I still like, why am I holding back? I absolutely love this here. And I feel like I'm in a vibration that something's trying to break through.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
not even quite understanding. I understand the part about into being there in that place of play for the all of me.
yeah,
But there's something else that I feel is
you
element.
need dolphins. You
Oh,
need dolphins.
yeah. Oh,
Do you have dolphins in your space?
no, I don't.
Okay. Dolphins, like put dolphins in your space, whatever it is, pictures or put them in your space. If you can go see dolphins, do that. If you want to watch movies with dolphins, like you need dolphin energy.
Oh, you just hit it on the nail. Oh, you're making me cry.
I'm sorry.
It's it's the best. It's the release that I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I have been praying, asking the angels for quite a while. And I started saying, I want a little puppy, I want a dog. And then I started saying, I want a spirit dog, something that's a really spirit connection. And then I started in this one group, and they're saying, oh, dogs are dolphin dogs come from dolphins. And I'm saying, okay, I want a dolphin dog. So really, I can't I can't tell you how much you've hit the nail on the head. And
That's
there was a time
beautiful.
when I was listening, oh, this is probably a year and a half ago or so. I found this dolphin whale meditation, go to sleep at night music.
Perfect.
And it was just the best for me.
Perfect.
I got listening to other
Perfect.
things, solfeggio and all that. And lately I've been saying, give me the dolphin music again. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So just for everybody, dolphins hold probably the highest spiritual energy on this planet, the highest healing energy on this planet, and they play all the time. They play all the time, and that's what allows them to hold that vibration. And so this is where we need to move into more play, more lightness while we're doing the really serious work that we're here to do.
That's priceless. Yes, I had just recently read that they hold the highest intellectual frequency and beingness. But
Mhm,
I hadn't said, oh, that, and they play all the time. Beautiful. Well
mhm.
said, Teresa. Thank you. Oh, yes. Well, find me some dolphins.
Let's just hope you don't get a dog that barks like a dolphin.
That would be terrible. Okay, Simone, I've asked you to unmute. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic,
Yes.
Teresa. Well done.
Hello, Teresa, Tanya.
Oh,
Hi,
I
Hi.
Simone.
really listened to all of that and reflected my own life. And I came from a place where I sacrificed myself to keep myself safe. So it's really like at some point in my life, I didn't know who I was. That changed because then I got through a situation, the guidance is really great to recognize I don't want to give myself up. I want to be who I really am, not having a clue what that really meant. And now I would say a lot of stuff changed in my life. I'm setting up boundaries despite still feeling stuff. I let go of the people in my life not serving me, even family.
Mhm,
So I'm not being treated in that way anymore. And I'm looking after myself. I think the only thing that is still kind of a bit of a problem because I never got to voice my needs when I grew up. It's really knowing. The good question is, what do I want to do? And honestly, it's like, being an excavator, I'm looking for the treasure and it's like, am I there yet? So it's a lot of stuff that I thought was my past came from, let's say, wrong intention. I
mhm,
didn't do it for myself because I enjoy it, but I did because I thought I was meant to do that. But that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for to do really what I want to do. So it's really sorting out everything. It's like I had to let go of everything because I'm a healer, really to re-evaluate what do I really want to do? What do I do from conditioning, from living in a place? It's really like everything in my life came to a halt, but at the same time, it was really like distressing because I lived for so long in a place where I had to keep myself safe that I didn't know how extreme it was.
yeah.
And it's now really way better. But still, what I really look for is what to do with my life now. It's like I actually don't really know. And what I do at the moment is more or less feeling into what I need in the moment, what might be a next step to do, not really focusing onto the future, more in the present. But I'm not really clear on what actually do I want to do in my life? Do I really want to be a healer? I know I'm meant to do something big. No clue what that is. So it's really like no real direction.
Mhm, mhm. So in all of that, is there a specific question?
Hmm. I would say in all that I did in my life, what is really me?
Hmm.
What I do? What is really me? Because I did a lot of stuff because I was expected. I was put into a corner. I said I had to do it to kind of survive. But what is really from myself? What is who I am?
What a beautiful question. And so I'm going to say, first of all, I just want to really congratulate you on all of the work you've done. Like you have done so much amazing integration and movement and a lot of things that strike terror in the hearts of people. Like I've heard over the years over and over again that people are terrified to let go of people that they love because they're afraid that there won't be anyone else. So I just want to say you've taken so many leaps. So I just want to congratulate you on all of that because you've moved so fearlessly through so many things. Um, when you're asking in all of this, it's all you. Like that's what your angels are showing me. It's all you. These are all experiences that your soul didn't put you in for any particular reason other than your soul chose these experiences for its growth and evolution. So every experience as you look back, even if you were doing things that were because they were expected of you or put you into a corner, as you've said, you learned something about yourself in those situations. You grew stronger in certain ways in those situations. You gained insight that could help somebody else, that could help your soul evolve. So they just want you to start to see all of that experience as part of who you are and to start to integrate. It feels like there's a lot of chapters in your life, and just to start allowing your soul to weave them together and bring them in to this stage because that will inform you of what your next steps are. And the angels are always asking when people are saying, what is my next step? They're always saying, what brings you joy? What brings you joy right now? And then, regardless of what it is, it could be something totally different from what you think your purpose is. They say, well, then do more of that. Because when we spend more time in the joy, that's when our mind quiets down. That's when we stop trying to figure things out. And our intuition can start to really be heard. It can hit us when we're least expecting it. And so, maybe you like to dance, maybe you like to hike, whatever it is, do more of that so that everything, all of these pieces can kind of land and what's next can make itself apparent to you. You don't have to worry about being a healer. You just are. You just are that. Regardless of whether or not you choose to do this as a career, you walk into the supermarket, you are that. You are bringing that energy to that space. So just realizing that too. There's not so much choice as you think there is. There's just who you be. But how you express that is totally up to you. Do you want to express that healing energy through being a dancer? Do you want to do it through seeing people in session? Is there something you want to study? But it's just about what brings you joy now and doing more of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, because that's interesting. It's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. It's not doing much. I'm supporting someone else. I do it because it brings me joy. It feels right doing that. But besides that, I'm not doing much. And honestly, I just noticed, yes, that brings me joy too. Not that much because all my life I was always doing.
Now, I just want to say to everybody here, do you hear the difference in Simone's voice right now than you did before? Like how much joy she's emanating just through her voice? You're in your joy. Like, and don't worry that you have to do more than that. Just be where you are now, enjoy it. And if there is another direction, because you're living in your joy, that's your purpose right now. The next brick on the path will be put in front of you.
Really, thank you so much because you brought things together I didn't see, and I still kind of was missing. We all have our blind spots. I know that. So I think it's really important to, besides accepting what happened, really seeing it, yeah, that in the end, it comes back to me. That is my expression because some way, even hidden, I was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Really,
And you
thank
know
you so
what,
much.
my dear, if you weren't there, you wouldn't have made it through. Your strength got you through all of that. And also, just so you know, we are all our own blind spots. So,
Thank you.
That we definitely are. That we definitely are. That was fantastic. Do you have time for one more? I don't want to take
Sure.
you over. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Sue, did I hit Sue? Oh, hold
You did
on.
not hit Sue. Please tell me you didn't hit Sue.
I did. Oh, there we go. Sue, you're on.
Hi,
Hit me for being
Sue.
late.
All good.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for that.
So what can we do for you, Sue?
I kind of came in late, as you know, and I kind of missed the beginning of it, so I'm not quite 100% sure what we're doing. But I mean, a lot of what the last person was saying kind of resonated in some ways. Um, I think I have a bit of a pattern of keeping myself safe and isolation, and um, so some of what the other lady was saying about having been kept in the corner and doing things that she felt she should be doing, I was kind of I, I've faded into the background a lot during my life, basically. Not so much. I know a lot of people are doers. I'm not so much. Not so much because I'm like a massive doer. I may be sort of um, kind of withdraw more, I think. Um, so I think I'm at that stage as well where I've actually had quite a bit of over the last few years. I've had quite a bit of what feels like past life things affecting me. So I think some of it is probably healing the family lineage in some way. Um, I think there's definitely something as well about me kind of finding finding my own voice and kind of I don't know, standing up for something. I'm not quite sure what. If you need a specific question, it's probably around why I do isolate myself.
This is beautiful. I feel like everyone has spoken to the need for community, right? And do you see that? Like if we were all in the same, let's say, stadium seeing a concert, we would all be feeling the same thing and not know it. So we're all here and we're all having the same yearning. And so we've grouped ourselves because we wanted this experience of community where people can understand us and hold us. And so I just want to point that out because so many times we feel like we're the only person, but we're all having that same experience. Um, so so when one of the things that I study intensely and I work with is Ayurveda. And in Ayurveda, we talk about the three different types of energy. It's called Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And so I'm saying this for a reason. Um, all of us have all three energies in differing proportions. And so some of us are more fire driven, some of us are more air driven, and some of us are more earth driven. And so you are one of the people who is more earth driven, earth and water driven. And when we talk about that, you are a holder. You are someone who holds the energy. Like you said, I'm not as much of a doer. You're a holder. You hold the energy for people, for space. I guarantee you, you walk into some place, people come to you and tell you their problems. Is that not the case?
Yeah, yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so I don't blame you for isolating. Who wants to hear all of that all the time, right? This is people just feel that from you. If we were all in a room, you're the one I would go to and ask for a hug because your angels say you're the best hugger. Like they're saying you're a wonderful hugger. So, um, but this is part of just who you are. You are that energy. And so part of the protection is to keep yourself invisible so people can't overburden you because you have enough going on in your own life, right? That's been a story that's kind of carried with you. And also like it feels like you were unnecessarily the person that a lot of people in the family look to fix things, to put band-aids on things when there were problems. And so that was unfair. So this is part of why you do what you do. And so just realizing, you know what, I don't have to do that anymore. Like I now have the ability to say, I'm not doing that. Like if you want to be in relationship with me, this is where I want that relationship to function from, not here. So if you want to be with me, you got to meet me here, and just hold that energy for yourself. After the fifth time somebody asks, continue saying, "No, no, I can't do that. I'm sorry," and just really listen to when your system is saying no to something. That feels really important. The more you acknowledge the no's, the more yeses can show up because you're not spending your time on the no. So I'm not sure if you got here for the garden analogy, but like really, if you watch this back, we were talking about tending the flowers in your garden instead of focusing on pulling the weeds. So really, tend the flowers in your garden. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? And then show up as more of yourself so those people can start coming into your life. They will feel more of you. And we talked about some ways to tend our nervous system and do some of that. So it'll make it okay for you to kind of make some of these changes in your life. It'll feel safer. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Really beautiful. And just to acknowledge, I am here to be one of those people who anchors the energy. I am here to be one of those people who holds it down. Like you're the crystal or the candle in the room that changes the energy. So just acknowledge that power that you have and be more about that instead of thinking you should be something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. That does make sense. Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing yourself here.
Thank you. So we'll get a replay, you say, with the rest of the.
There is, yeah, this will be on the show. Yeah. Yeah, you bet.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for coming, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Teresa.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Teresa, that was fantastic.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. It's our angels.
And I love the different layers that you can see into people with. Yeah.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about working with people's energy and the angels is you can see where they allow you to see. And, my intention is always allow me to see what is necessary for the highest and best healing. Like, I don't need to see everything. I don't need to have that power. I need to see what's necessary for the highest and best. So, yeah, it's beautiful.
Ooh, that's direct. That's direct. Now, if people want to work with you or get a hold of you, all of the links will be here, but where do they go?
They can go to theresav.com. It's TheresaVee. Or you can email my team at support@theresav.com, and we will be happy to get back to you.
Fantastic. And I feel like, do you have any parting messages for anybody?
Oh my gosh, so much. There's so much. Like, despite everything going on in the world right now, realizing that this is a time of great clearing and we're coming back to the heart of things, right? It doesn't matter what your view is, what your philosophy is. This is true for everyone. And to really realize when you're anchored in love, when your heart chakra can be fully open, that's when you become unshakable. That's when nothing that is other than love can root in you. None of those distortions can have a place to go because there's nothing attracting them to you anymore. So I think that's the really important thing right now. And so to tend your energy so that you can show up as more of that love, that's really important. And in doing that, you'll recognize the scripts. You'll be able to calm the chaos. You'll reclaim your magic and you will find your community.
That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, your magic isn't lost. It's just waiting. It's not waiting for a ritual or for someone else to do it for you. It's already there. Your breath is there. And this sacred rewrite is just about daring to live as more of yourself, daring to live as your full self, without apology and fiercely.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's not waiting for a ritual. It's not waiting for a course or a diploma. It's like it's waiting for you to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
all.
And yeah, thank you to everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next show. Stop recording.